Tesla had quite a session, reaching new local highs before basically giving it all back after announced tariffs on autos internationally. Seth Goldstein joins us from Morningstar, equity strategist covering energy and resources. Seth, welcome back. Always like talking about Tesla. What'd you make of the action today?
Well, we saw the stock initially rise, and that was the market responding to Tesla likely having a lower total tariff impact than many of its peers, whose stocks we saw sold off.
Is that true?
But
Is that
yeah,
the math?
I think it is. I think Tesla will still have an impact, as Elon Musk said on X last night that Tesla's not immune to this, and I think that's true. But when you're looking at electric vehicles, Tesla assembles everything they sell currently in the U.S. All their battery packs are made in the U.S. That's why they qualify for the Inflation Reduction Act subsidies for all vehicles they sell. That's not the case for their competitors. Now, there still will be a question of how deep will the tariffs go into things like the battery cells, the cathodes, the anodes. Will those be subject to tariff? Steel and aluminum for Tesla will still be subject to tariff. So they will likely have to raise prices to pass along the cost, but maybe not to the extent that their competitors will so they could gain market share.
Okay, so then Rivian was also up. The logic and then GM and Ford were down. So the logic I was offering at the top of the show is if Tesla benefits in any way, even on a relative basis, if it's not a nominal improvement but a less negative detriment, then I would think that is still negative Ford and GM by transition because Tesla has been so dominant in the domestic market. Does that make any sense?
It does, and especially for EV makers like Ford and GM who are still profitable and looking to catch up to Tesla. The issue for them is going to be now you have a higher cost. So you're already trying to bring your costs down so you can compete with Tesla and turn a profit. But with higher costs now from the tariffs, it's gonna put a bigger burden on them to get the other parts of their cost structure down quicker or raise prices and maybe sell fewer vehicles.
Okay. What are you expecting numbers-wise in terms of growth rates, top and bottom line? We're not going to hear from them for a couple months, but if we just kind of think about the fundamentals again and outside of all this policy stuff, what does that trajectory look like?
Well, we've seen sales decline by the published numbers in the U.S., China, and Europe for the first 2 months of the year. So I expect Q1, when they release deliveries next week, will be a down number. I do think, though, as they release the new Model Y in all markets in March, that we should have improvement in Q2, maybe quarter over quarter. And then I think as we release the new, more affordable vehicle later in the year, then we'll have another improvement. And the second half, we'll see deliveries growth. So I do think we'll see deliveries down slightly in 2025, but it will have the same quarter by quarter trajectory as we saw in 2024, where things started the year out bad, but then got better by the fourth quarter.
I guess I'm a little bit surprised by your fair value being lower than it is right now when it seems you have confidence that lower priced model is coming, because that's what a lot of the bears say is, oh, that's not going to get here on the timeline they needed to, or that's not a real catalyst. But if they do, I would think that's a big bullish thing in their favor.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how the model is priced. Remember when the Cybertruck was first announced, it was going to be $40,000. What we actually saw is a vehicle price far higher than that.
Yeah,
so
true.
I want to see what the true price point is. Likely it's going to be lower than a Model Y, but how much lower, we don't know. Chevrolet does have the Equinox EV that's going to be priced in the mid 30,000s. At that price point, you're competing with a Honda CR-V, with a Toyota RAV4. For that mid-size CUV market, that's the largest market in U.S. autos right now. So Tesla needs to be in that price point to compete, and we'll see where they end up.
All right. Great stuff. Thanks, Seth. Appreciate that perspective. Thanks for jumping on with us this afternoon. Helps answer some stuff about Tesla's session. Seth Goldstein, equity strategist at Morningstar.